So the other day I was watching some YouTube videos on the 1870 trapdoor Springfield, and I happened to come across this.
This is chambered in 50-70, and many of the Apaches and natives were armed with 50-70s. They were considered rear-tier weapons, and they were easier to get a hold of. So even though it's 50-70, it actually will fire 45-70, and there's actually examples of cartridges that have been fired in 50-70s, and they balloon out when they're done. So as you can imagine, at the time, getting the kind of cartridge ammunition you needed, especially if you were an Indian, and I hate using the word Indian, but that's the term we use, it was hard. So they would use whatever they could and could get a hold of whatever they could. So you'll see, them firing 45-70 out of this, 50-70, whatever they could really fit.
As soon as I heard that, I said, I'll have to try that. So I went out to my garage and I assembled some black powder 45-70. This stuff is 55 grains of 2F Swiss with a 30 thousandths card wad on top of the powder. And the projectile I used are these goofy powder-coated 405 grain projectiles without any black powder lube because, given the situation, I didn't think it was necessary. So I grabbed my trapdoor and we headed out to the pasture to give it a try.
Right.
Or a unexpected disassembly.
Yeah, rapid disassembly is another one.
Yeah.
I like that.
All right, well, you ready?
Yeah, well, why don't you tell us what's going on?
Do I have to?
Yeah.
That would help.
Okay, so this is a 1868 Springfield trapdoor in 50-70, and this is a 45-70. And the reason why I want to try this is because I have it on good authority that the Indigenous Forces, I believe is what it was called.
Yeah, I think that's what he said.
Would use 45-70 in a 50-70 rifle to something that you could call effective, I suppose.
That's effective.
Hey, I'd call that effective.
So what year?
Okay, now this is what I was expecting to have happen.
Yeah, it will not eject.
I don't want to break my ejector. Oh wow, that destroyed the out of that cartridge.
Yeah, let's see.
I'd call that slightly more than ballooned.
Whoa!
So that can't be reloaded.
No, sir.
I would say no.
Wow.
We should at least get a chrono number off of it, though.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's try that.
All right. There we go.
885.
So it's
That's
about
what I said.
it's about 1,000 feet slower than it should be.
No, not quite. It would be more like with these, it'd probably be like 12 or 1400.
Oh, okay.
Depending.
So about 400 to 600 slower than it should
That's
be.
definitely enough to do some damage.
Oh, that's enough to kill you. Definitely enough to kill you dead.
That ruins those things.
Every time.
Okay,
Man.
well, yes, it appears to work. It appears that could work.
Would I recommend it? No.
No. In fact, I'm sure I'm going to get all kind of angry comments about how I just ruined my 1870 trapdoor. All right. Ready?
Yep.
All right.
Another flavor or same kind?
Same thing. I just want to see if I can get another number off of it.
Sacrificial lamb.
884.
Wow. Consistently broken.
Yeah, okay, that's enough for me.
Yep.
That's enough for me. It appears to work, yes.
Is it bad? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to have to do this every time you
gotta,
load,
yeah.
You can do that. Boy, I feel terrible about that.
Let me see that.
Man. This video is not brought to you by Starline Brass.
Look at that. That poor damn thing.
Oh, look at the primer.
Oh, yeah. It's interesting how it always balloons right here.
Yeah, well.
That's a safe 30 yards.
Yeah, safe 30 yards, though we do all kind of unsafe Well, let's see if we can at least hit one of those targets at 30 yards. Okay. Now this is really the most inconvenient part of this.
You sure it's not destroying the cartridge?
Oh, it's destroying the hell out of the cartridge.
What I mean is that's not the most inconvenient part.
That looks pretty damned inconvenient to me. We did hit that target though.
We did. You hit it on the left, it kind of swung it around. But
We'll aim for the one on the left now.
Okay.
Couldn't get lucky twice in a row.
Apparently not.
Man, this is so wrong.
Yeah.
Man, it...
There's no coming back from those, man.
No, you don't think you could fix it?
Not with duct tape or silicone. Not with bowls.
Well, maybe we could make a video on that. Well, maybe the first hit was just luck.
Maybe.
Well, I suppose if you were really
In a bind.
yeah. you could make that work, I suppose. My poor trapdoor. You didn't deserve any of that. Even if they do think you're an 1870. Man. What a mess. What a mess. Look at this. Look at this.
Destroyed entirely.
This thing seems to be okay. It doesn't appear to be any worse for wear. You can see it blows a bunch of powder residue back into the breach there, and of course it would because there's nothing to seal it. Hey, look, it's 1870. You know what that means? It means it's not an 1870. Well, that was fun.
So here's a close-up of some of these poor 4570 cases. As you can see, it splits those things and balloons them out and destroys them entirely. But I was a little surprised that they went off every time. So even though the firing pin doesn't hit that primer square, it hits it towards the edge, it still is enough to set it off without any trouble at all. Now, it's probably safe to assume that there's going to be some people that watch that and get really, really upset because there's not usually any situation where running the wrong ammunition in a firearm is going to be acceptable. But for proof of concept and to prove Carl's point, this does work. Now, if you were a member of the indigenous forces in the 1870s and you were armed with a 66, 68, or 1870 trapdoor and all you could get was 4570, then yeah, this certainly could be used and certainly could be effective. Both of those shots were only within 1 feet per second of each other. I don't get that tight a spread with anything, especially something that has a giant split down the side and destroys it. So that worked out okay, I suppose. As for my trapdoor, it is an 1868, even though I know it says 1870 on there. Don't let that fool you. That's a whole nother topic. It is in fine working order. No issue at all. It still functions. After we did the 4570 test, we put a couple of 5070 rounds through it. It functions and works just fine, extracted fine. No harm, no foul, even though it probably does look bad. But if I could quote the great Paul Harrell, don't try this at home. I'm what you would call a professional. So as usual, folks, if you thought this video didn't suck, do me a favor and hit the like button and consider subscribing. And if you did think it sucked, go make your own damn video.